Lewis Hamilton, Sebastian Vettel fires 2019 Ferrari warning at F1 gala. Hamilton won his fifth world title this season after opening up an 88-point gap over Vettel. The Brit is the heavy favorite to continue his dominance and begin to close down Michael Schumacher's all-time record of winning 7 Drivers' Championships. And Vettel knows his team have a lot of work to do if they are to stop Hamilton in 2019. The German was quizzed at the FIA Gala in Russia on what Ferrari need to do to win the world title. "I think it is very simple," Vettel replied. "We had our races where we were very close and very competitive, and overall our car this year has been more an all-round car which worked on all tracks. So we had our highlights and I think most of them we used. But then we had too many races where we were not quite there. Sometimes, it was, by a tenth or two, but sometimes a bit more, where we were left with not much to do over a weekend. And that is something we must fix and try to control better going into next year." Vettel also picked out some of his highlights of the season. "I would say Bahrain, as a season highlight, because initially I didn't like it, but now I really love it," he added. "I loved the trophy after the race. It was a tight battle after the last lap, so it was good to hang on to the lead until the end. Then I think the other one that has to be mentioned is Canada, especially as it was 40 years after Gilles Villeneuve, with Ferrari, won. It was a very emotional day." He added, "I think it was a long year, we had our ups and downs. Most of us followed it very closely, but we were able as a team to do another step. Still, the last step is missing to make sure that we have a word until the end of the championship and fight for it all the way, and not just for parts of the season." Next news: Hamilton opens up on relationship with Alonso. Lewis Hamilton has spilt the beans on what his relationship with Fernando Alonso is really like. The former teammates had a tricky relationship when they were both driving for McLaren. Alonso was Hamilton's first teammate in Formula One when he joined the team in 2007. Hamilton had previously said that having the Spanish racer on the same team was one of the toughest experiences of his career due to Alonso's driving prowess. However, it seems all was well behind the scenes, with Hamilton paying tribute to Alonso after he brought the curtain down on his time in F1 in Abu Dhabi 2 weeks ago. "Fernando is a true legend," Hamilton told Formula1.com. "It's been a real honor and a privilege to race in a period of time where he has been racing. Before I even got to Formula One I was already watching him and admiring what he had achieved. I was asked all weekend, 'Will you miss him?' And naturally I don't really quite feel like I miss another driver ever. But the sport will miss him, we will miss him, and I will definitely miss him being in the sport." Next news: Hamilton's speed on a bike concerns WSBK racer. Michael van der Mark spent time on track with the 5-time F1 champ and had some words of advice for him and Lewis. Hamilton's two-wheeled aspirations are no secret. He's been ambassador to Italian brand MV Agusta for some time now and has even had special edition bikes produced in his name. And as reported on Visordo last week, he even went as far as a test with the Crescent World Superbike team, aboard what is alleged to have been a full-fat, 200-plus bhp, WSBK spec machine. Well now, Michael van der Mark, who was on track with Hamilton, has spoken to motorsport.com about how he tried to get Hamilton to go a bit slower as the 5-time champ had all the speed and, apparently, no style. He went on to say, "Lewis already did 2 track days on his bike, before this test, and the people of his team were a little bit concerned because of his speed. He was very fast, but he didn't have a riding style. He had lots of lean angle, so the initiative came a bit from his team that he'd get a few tips from professionals. On the first day, I was only trying to make him go a bit slower. I had to stop him. He's not afraid at all and he tried to take corners as fast as with his car. When pushed on how competitive Hamilton would be if he made a full-time switch to bike racing, the 2018 third-place finisher was coy but did say, he's not afraid at all. You also see that he doesn't have any doubt. You see a lot of riders who have a little doubt, but he's going all the way if he decides to do it that way. He has only ridden 4 days now and he was about 7 seconds slower than us. With that, he's faster than most other track day riders. So, there you have it. Whether you like it or not, Lewis Hamilton is probably quicker than you at a track day unless of course you actually believe that you could get closer than 7 seconds to Mickey van der Mark and Alex Low's coattails, and I thought not. What do you think to Hamilton's escapades on bikes? Let us know in the comments below. Next news: Ricciardo best overtaker in the business, declares Horner. Daniel Ricciardo may have already left the building, but Red Bull team boss Christian Horner is still happy to sing the Australian's praises. He's driven some fantastic races for us, Horner told motorsport.com recently. Ever since he got in a Red Bull car he's done nothing but overtake, and arguably has become the best overtaker in the business. Ricciardo's pass on Valtteri Bottas at the Chinese Grand Prix was one of the nominations for Action of the Year in the FIA's 2018 prize-giving awards. He himself said last month that his approach had changed the level of overtaking from other guys in the sport as well. He went on to add, "I realize that sounds a bit cocky, but I really do believe that." Horner said that Ricciardo's reputation as the king of overtaking in F1 was somewhat ironic, as the team's one doubt before they hired him to replace Mark Webber in their driver lineup for 2014 was whether he had the ability to effectively race and pass rivals on the track. When we were first faced with the dilemma of who do we replace Mark Webber with, there was Jean-Eric Vergne, there was Daniel Ricciardo and there was Kimi Räikkönen, Horner explained. Our biggest concern about Daniel wasn't his pace, it was we hadn't seen him race wheel to wheel while he was in a Toro Rosso. Ricciardo soon laid those doubts to rest, while his personality was also an immediate perfect fit with the team. His energy in the team has been hugely popular, he said, adding that teammate Max Verstappen had also been a big factor in the team in recent seasons. The dynamics with him and Max, you've only got to look at the mischief that they get up to, he pointed out. It's been great. Horner added that it was a shame that Ricciardo had bowed out of his time at Red Bull without one last podium appearance in Abu Dhabi. We were all hoping that Dan would be there, Horner said. Last race with the team, we wanted him to do a shoey for the final time. It wasn't to be in the end. Ricciardo surprised the paddock by announcing he would move to Renault in 2019, leaving Red Bull calling up Pierre Gasly to race alongside Verstappen next season. As for his Christmas plans, Australian newspaper reports say that the 29-year-old is currently dating fashion model Jessica Gomez. Like Ricciardo, Gomez also originally hails from Perth. Thank you for watching the video. Be sure to share and subscribe to your channel to get the latest sports news around the world. Wished health and success. Goodbye.